I hope you had a great weekend. Hopefully you were able to stay away from the news, but you're ready to be back. You're here with Countdown to Restoration, counting down the days of the illegal and illogical and just ill Biden regime. Of course, Joseph, was it R. Biden? What was his middle name? Ralph? I don't know. Joseph Biden, the resident thief in chief. Yeah. The thief in chief. Yeah. One more time. The thief in chief. Yeah. All right. That's enough. That's enough. We said just 3 times max in the beginning. Okay. I tell you, the man loves his job. And he is here with me, Danny Thompson, your host, for this fast-paced look into the dark winter of the Biden regime. Oh, it's cold. Oh, it's freezing Uncle Sam, freezing the Statue of Liberty. Oh, it's so evil and cold. Anyway, here we are. Glad that you're with us. Tell somebody about the show. Even if you don't like it, tell somebody about it. They might like it. I don't know. How do you know? Ladies and gentlemen, we have this, a new program launching soon on a streaming service near you.
Astronaut, a man barely alive. Gentlemen, we can rebuild him. We have the technology. We have the capability to make the world's first bionic man. Steve Austin will be that man. Better than he was before. Better, stronger,
Good afternoon. I'm Dr. Rachel Levine.
Yes, the Bionic Man, Dr. Rachel Levine. You might remember that old show. If not, look it up. It's really good. Dr. Rachel Levine, the poster child for the Biden regime. What's up is down, what's down is up, and what's messed up is. All right. Yeah, some information that Dr. Levine is probably not too happy with. Texas school calls in counselors after teacher reads book about a transgender boy. It tells them that they must be invisible, that they can't talk about who they are, that they are unworthy, one mom of a transgender child said. But that really wasn't the whole problem. The problem was it's not a book for kids to see. A teacher in Austin, Texas came under fire. I'm sure that's just a euphemism. For reading a children's book about a transgender boy to her 4th grade class, prompting the district to call the book inappropriate and offer counseling to students who listen. Transgender allies defended the teacher in the book Call Me Max by Stonewall Award-winning author Kyle Lukoff. It features a transgender child explaining his identity and is aimed at children in early elementary school. Several parents wrote letters complaining to Forest Trail Elementary, with some calling for the teacher to be fired in response. Eanes Independent School District's Chief Learning Officer, Susan Fanbro, explained in an email to parents that Call Me Max had been included on a list of diverse books circulated among teachers, but was not appropriate to be read aloud to an entire elementary age class, and counselors were made available. Of course, but which way would they counsel? I mean, why pass out a book to teachers and then you can't read it? I don't understand. You know what happened? People didn't like it. People didn't want their 4th graders to hear about how they can become this. I'm telling you. You've got a better chance of messing with the little girls to become boys than you do Texas mothers wanting, most Texas mothers wanting their sons to, come on. Yeah. So they called in counselors. I think, was it 4th grade? I think so. Close enough. Had a teacher fall over dead in my class. We had to finish out the school day. We were in school the next day, never saw one counselor. The teacher that took her place said, if you need to talk about it, I'm available. Yeah. I mean, kids today would have got a whole week off of school. Not then. Teacher falls over dead in your class and you're okay. You'll live. Now you know what's wrong with me. Anyway, and what else do we have that might interest Dr. Rachel Levine, Vatican says it will not bless same-sex unions, calling homosexuality a sin and a choice. What is wrong with the Vatican? Don't they know science? I don't know. There was a question about it. As a devout Catholic, Joe Biden still believes in same-sex marriage, etc., etc., etc. Still believes. Anyway, so bye, Doc. We'll see you tomorrow, I'm sure, unless you have a previous engagement. Remember, all of this flies in the face of secular Democrats of America who want to remove God from our society and wants to make us a nation of Dr. Rachel Levins. SecularDems.org. Please go and read that so you will understand much. Also, our February 15th show, President's Day show, covers that. Good show. Explain a lot to you. We've got a lot of stuff to look at today. This has nothing to do with anything, but it made me happy because I like Toys R Us. Toys R Us has a new owner that's planning to open stores again in the U.S., hopefully ahead of the upcoming holiday, meaning Christmas season. I miss Toys R Us, got grandkids. It's just a one-stop toy shop where you can get all your genderless and transgender toys in one place. It's just remarkable. Just remarkable. I'm sure they'll have the Barbie, the WWE, whatever it is, World Wrestling figure aisle and the Barbie aisle, and in the middle of it all, they'll have the either or aisle. Who knows? But it's Toys R Us, the world's greatest toy store. All right, what else do we have here? Wait a minute, shouldn't we have had this in our coronavirus thing? But we've got it here. You might have remembered from last week, reporters asking Jen Psaki, about how come AstraZeneca can't ship out vaccines. We're not using them. AstraZeneca warns Europe of large delivery shortfall, blaming export curbs. Yeah, it's a foreign country, but they obviously have a production facility here, and we won't let their vaccine out. And of course, I don't think Europe wants it now. It tends to bring with it a risk of blood clots that can be fatal. Yes, you will not, I don't know, wouldn't it be counted as a COVID death? I don't know. If you had COVID, but the vaccine gave you blood clots but anyway, Germany's not going to use it. And France, I think, stopped using it in one of the countries, Italy or somebody, people 65 and older, just not safe. All right, totally unrelated news. Did you watch last year, or were you maybe in attendance, the big fireworks celebration for the 4th of July, America's Independence Day at Mount Rushmore? Wasn't that a great show? Yeah. And they wanted to do it again, but the White House said no. No, because that's a federal property, and no, Number one, you're only supposed to have a quiet barbecue in your backyard with close family and friends. Just a few. This is not close family and friends, everybody in the country showing up in South Dakota. So they're going to keep trying because they want a big celebration. But no, no, no. Only a small get-together in your backyard. I don't have a backyard, boss. What do I do? You just stay inside and keep quiet. If you're not popular enough to be invited to someone else's backyard, just sit there and moan and be glad you're alive because we saved you. Anyway, just thought I'd throw that in. What else do we have in random news today? White House warns, now this is serious. Organizations have hours, not days, to fix vulnerabilities as Microsoft Exchange attacks increase. They did this over the weekend, put this out. So if this affects you, install those patches. This is really serious. Of course, they are not going to tell us who did it. They're not going to. We know who did it. China did it. Yes, that's been all the, at least we assume. We assume. I'm not going to say no because I'm not sure. And if China did it, then we've got to do something. And we don't want to do anything to China. Not to China. We love China. This is maybe troubling. North Korea unresponsive to behind-the-scenes Biden administration outreach. According to a U.S. official, this was confirmed in today's press briefing that yes, the U.S. had reached out through back channels, and so far North Korea hasn't cared. Of course, in all fairness, over the last year, through all the COVID things and everything else, they didn't respond either, waiting to see if President Trump would be back in office was the speculation. But now that he's not, they don't like Biden. Their revered leader called him a rabid dog. And just for those of you who are upset because he, that means the dog is like Biden. Orientals aren't crazy about dogs. I'm sorry. It's just true. Anyway, so we have some problems there where, yes. Is this the next one? Yes, okay. You might remember a couple of weeks ago the big to-do over finally writing out an executive order for a 100-day study on supply chains, etc., and protecting rare earth minerals, such things that, they're hard to find, and basically we depend on China, India, and Russia for many of them. Well, a couple of over-eager congresspeople have done a little study, and the executive order for that, coupled with the executive order on cutting back all kinds of things due to the climate, kind of contradict each other. It's like, we're going to mine our own rare earth minerals, but maybe not so fast because there's some problems here. Let's see, what could they be? President Biden has added yet another tally mark to his ever-increasing list of executive orders. This time it was an order declaring his purported recognition of the need to secure our nation's domestic supply chains. But it was just a 100-day review. It's really not serious yet. On the face, the motivation behind such a declaration is one we would agree with. Our nation's domestic sourcing of critical minerals or significant lack thereof truly is a substantial weakness. Yeah, because, when you might be at war with these people and you need things like uranium. And did you know we're buying the uranium to power our nuclear subs from Russia and China? Now, ladies and gentlemen, that does not seem efficient to me. I don't know. I don't know about these things. I don't know. However, just one day before the president released his executive order, he issued a statement of administration policy in support of a sweeping package of Democrat-led bills that would drastically, harmfully, and permanently ban mineral development on over 1 million acres of land. This land in Arizona happens to be one of the largest tracts of uranium deposits in the country. See, this is Democrat-led efficiency. We need this. We've got to have this. We're buying this from our enemies. Our very own security depends on it, but we've got to protect that land, so we're not going to get that uranium out of it. Ladies and gentlemen, this is how their minds work. I don't understand it. I don't understand it. Mining is an integral part of local economies in the West, and the Arizona mining industry creates thousands of jobs. Well, that's the problem. They're creating jobs, and we can't have that. No, that's bad. That's bad. Anything that really creates jobs, unless it's a pipeline going from Pennsylvania to New Jersey, it's bad. That contribute greatly to the local and national economy. We don't need that now. We have the American Rescue Plan, and that will change the economy all by itself. The wealth of our nation's domestic uranium and other critical mineral deposits are, as we will continue to point out, essential to our national security. Nowhere in President Biden's statement of support were critical minerals mentioned. He made no recognition of the security concerns surrounding the supply of this critical mineral, nor any reference to the many statements in his order to supposedly create more resilient and more secure supply chains. Nope, because what do we want? Almost more than crippling the economy, we want to cripple our nation's defenses, because that somehow makes us safer. Nuclear-powered submarines that rely on uranium from potentially enemy countries that we are placing sanctions on, etc., etc. Well, if we stop having uranium, that makes us safer. Our subs will just die in the water, and somehow we'll be safer. Because the more people you get in the country streaming in illegally makes us more prosperous. The less uranium you have makes us safer. The less critical minerals we have, the better off we'll all be, even though our very lives and security and way of life depends on it. But, see, that's what the Democrats think. The more money we spend that we don't have, everything gets better. And the more security that we don't have, everything gets better. Oh, man. It's just lovely. I mean, it's just, I feel safer. I feel more prosperous. I feel good. Yeah, I have to get the James Brown going. All right. I don't know, is there a woman around here for me to beat up on? No, my wife left. She not left me. I don't beat up on my wife. She went to do some errands. Actually, she just loves the show so much, she wants to watch it on her phone instead of see it live today, so she left. I think that's what she said. Anyway, sorry, James Brown fans. Just a little something there. All right, I mentioned this Friday, but airstrike in Syria hits Iran-backed militia targets, Austin says. What would that be from? That would be from Israel, ladies and gentlemen. Israel has targeted at least a dozen vessels bound for Syria and mostly carrying Iranian oil. Yes, Israel's not sitting by. Again, I told you Friday is because they sell that oil to get money to fund their nuclear research. I don't know. Now, maybe if Iran wanted to buy uranium from Arizona, we could let them mine there. I'll have to look into that. I'll ask Jen next time I'm at a press conference. Wouldn't that be fun, me at a press conference? I would enjoy that. Of course, the next few days sitting in a jail cell probably wouldn't be as fun. But anyway, now, Iran is willing to cooperate on, stopping to bomb our bases in Iraq. Iranian-backed Iraqi parliamentaries have agreed to stop attacks against U.S. forces in Iraq on the condition that Iraqi Prime Minister Mustafa al-Kadhimi formally demands an American withdrawal. So you get this, hey, Iran will stop attacking if you get out of here. Doesn't that make sense to you? Yeah, get Iran to demand we leave, and then they'll stop attacking us once we leave. I like that strategy. Yep. Isn't foreign policy fun when you have a Biden in office? It's just a lot of fun, ladies and gentlemen. You just never know what's going to happen next. What is up next? I told you the other day, by my calculations, the spending this year could be around $10 trillion. Let that sink in. $10 trillion on an economy in 2019 that was around $22 trillion. That would be almost half of that. 2020's economy wasn't near that, and so that would be over half of our economic output. House Senate Democrats unveil $94 billion bill to improve internet access. Now, I am one of those that believe in this modern world, everyone needs internet service of one type or another. And, broadband's the one that, does anybody have dial-up anymore? I don't even know. So what are we talking about? It's either broadband or nothing, isn't it? Yeah. So there's really nobody over there. I just look over there to make you think I'm talking to someone. Yeah, so it's just one of those technical tricks. Little showbiz, smoke and mirrors. Yeah. Nobody over there either. So that's, anyway. But, so another almost trillion. Well, I know 94 billion is not close to a trillion, but it's not close to nothing. There's got to be a cheaper way to do that. Of course, I think in the American Rescue Plan, there's money for people under a certain income to get like $50 a month for internet. And so, anyway, we just keep rolling that money out. Doesn't matter if we spent 1 point whatever trillion, almost 2 trillion. Hey, we can always, there's always a little more room for Jello, right? A little more room for spending money. Oh, I know you love it when I make my head big. The White House says it will push for permanent $300 monthly child allowance checks. Now, they're 2 years, but you know what? We can make that permanent if we really try. That means your average family of 2 children would get roughly $600 a month or so, until their kids turn what? 94? Something like that. But, see, this is what they don't tell you. Most families of lower income have more than 2 kids. And what will this do to the female workforce that they're trying to build up if you're paying? How many people have to work if you're getting money to cover all the kids? Plus, cheaper healthcare. I mean, everything. I don't. Oh, that's why we'll need all these people coming across the border, you think? Yeah, because we'll all be home, making. I want to get with some kids. Might be why my wife left. I don't know. Let's have some kids, honey. Yeah, that's 600. We only have one at a time unless we get on those fertility drugs. Maybe we could get quintuplets and clean up this year. Whoa, there's a goal. Yeah, it's going to, got to do what you got to do to keep the economy going. Okay, Joe Biden wants to see his temporary child allowance become permanent. Chief of Staff Ron Klain said ending child poverty is an important objective for us, as it is to everyone, Ron, except we're not going to end it because no government handout ends child poverty ever. We've been doing it since the 60s. It will send up to $3,600 a year to parents with kids under 6 and up to $3,000 annually to those with kids between 6 to 17. All right, so not 94, 17, okay. I mean, really, what about 18? I mean, some kids don't graduate high school till they're 18 and they're still at home, Ron. What about, kids get to stay on their parents' insurance to what, 26? Why not 26? I mean, fair is fair. Why not? See, I really don't consider most people adults till about 35. Why not till 35? All three of our kids are under 35. I'm working real hard here. Yeah, I mean, join with me, America. Let's rise up. Let's rise up. Senate Dems produce assault weapons ban bill on 205 gun models, including shotguns and hunting rifles. They weren't going to touch those, remember? One time Joe Biden, didn't he tell us get a shotgun? You don't need a handgun for home defense. You get a shotgun. Yeah, because grabbing that long shotgun out from under the bed in the middle of the night when people are breaking into your room about to pounce on you, that's not awkward at all, is it? 205 gun models. Come on, we've got more to this than meets the eye. So let's just start going. Senate Democrats introduced legislation that would ban 205 assault weapons Thursday, just hours after the House passed two other gun control bills, the ones on background checks. I told y'all this was coming. Wait for the executive order that's going to be coming out in our God Formation segment. Should be God Forbid segment, but it's God Formation segment. Introduced by Senator Dianne Feinstein, who never met a weapon that she liked. The legislation, called the Assault Weapons Ban of 2021, would also outlaw magazines capable of holding more than 10 rounds and is co-sponsored by 34 other Senate Democrats. That's all. They couldn't get 50. According to a press release from Feinstein, the bill bans any assault weapon with the capacity to utilize a magazine that is not a fixed ammunition magazine and has one or more military characteristics, including a pistol grip, a forward grip, a barrel shroud, a threaded barrel, or a folding or telescopic stock. Well, you can get little 22 caliber survival rifles that have a folding stock. I mean, what are you going to do with a 22 caliber survival rifle? I don't. These people never even seen rifles, I'm telling you. Some of the firearms listed in the proposed ban are all AR types, all Uzi types, Uzi, I like it, Ed Brown hunting and Model 704 bolt-action rifles. Ladies and gentlemen, a bolt-action rifle is a single-shot rifle. And I realize there are people who have been quite successful killing others, such as at the University of Texas, such as, what was that guy's name, the Kennedy that was killed? What? Oh, yeah, Oswald, that guy. Bolt action. Yep. Springfield Incorporated M6 Scout Rifle, Shotgun, Beretta CX4, and Sig Sauer P556, 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 whatever pistol, as well as belt-fed semi-autos. Current owners of the assault weapons listed in the legislation would be allowed to keep them, but any private transfers would require an FBI background check prior to receiving the firearm, which means if you give your little survival 22 to your nephew who's, whatever, you got to do a background check on your nephew, okay? And they're not going to let him have it because it's illegal now. Additionally, the bill prohibits bump stocks, which have already been illegal since March 26, 2019. It's been 17 years since the original assault weapons ban expired, and the plague of gun violence continues to grow in this country. What are we up to now? About 20 school shootings a day? Oh, yeah, we're closed because of COVID? Oh, yeah. These guys are probably just waiting now, huh? And I'm not making light. I know they're school shootings, and they're horrible. But ladies and gentlemen, when they had the assault ban in before, even the FBI said it did nothing. But anyway, to be clear, this bill saves lives. Because I'm here to say my job, my what was Jack Nicholson saying? Though my existence may be grotesque to you, it saves lives. I have to get that clip next time. I'm sorry, I just thought of it. Saves lives. Feinstein claimed in her announcement of the bill, when it was in place from 1994 to 2004, gun massacres declined by 37% compared with the decade before. Gun massacres from 94 to 2004. How many gun massacres did we have from 84 to 94? Not sure. FBI didn't seem to think that helped. Gun massacres. Pretty tough. I tell you, where are we? Right here? Yeah, okay. Oh, no, that's where we were. Oh, here we are. Okay. 30 compared with the decade before. After the ban expired, the number of massacres rose by 183%. The Department of Justice, National Institute of Justice, issued a report in 2004 stating that the assault weapons ban from 94 did not actually reduce crime. We cannot clearly credit the ban with any of the nation's recent drop in gun violence, and indeed there has been no discernible reduction in the lethality and injuriousness of gun violence, the report stated, according to a copy which was viewed by the Washington Times. It did not come out to the general public. It was viewed by. All right. The report noted that the assault weapons were rarely used in gun crimes before the ban. Should it be renewed, the ban's effects on gun violence are likely to be small at best and perhaps too small or for reliable measurement, the report continued, later stating, the ban's effects on gun violence are likely to be small at best and perhaps too small for reliable measurement. Don't you hate it when they repeat themselves in articles? On Thursday, the House passed the Bipartisan Background Checks Acts of 2021 with a vote of 227 to 203, passing legislation that would criminalize private gun sales conducted without a background check. The lower chamber of Congress also voted in favor of the Enhancement Background Check Act by a vote of 219 to 210, a bill that would allow the FBI to put a hold on transferring a firearm for a minimum of 10 days and up to 30 days rather than the 3 days currently allowed by law. So, you better start your Christmas shopping early this year if this gets through the Senate, which we got more to say about that in our God-formation segment. A lot in there. Yeah, we're moving. Tell you some good things happening in the country around us. And now, ladies and gentlemen, a little bit on the American Rescue Plan. It's so big, so important, it gets its own intro.
Come on and rescue me. Come on, baby, and rescue me. Come on, baby, and rescue me.
Come on, baby, and rescue me. Come on, Biden, baby, rescue me. Rescue me. You're not sending a dime to me. Never have. President Trump didn't. You're not. Joe Biden forgot to mention that his American Rescue Plan gives $600 million to San Francisco, $800 million foreign food aid, $470 million to the arts, $100 million to the EPA to address pollution. Because we really messed up the country while we were all locked in. Right? $20 million language preservation. I'm not even sure. 86 billion pension bailout that predates COVID-19 and 1.7 billion to Amtrak. That's right. That little old train rolling down the tracks to the junction. Inside joke. You got to be part of us to know. That's right. And here we have on the stimulus checks, the American Rescue checks, well, I don't even know how to, I don't know how to even set this one up.
President recognizes from his own experience is that when it's a package of this size, people don't always know how they benefit and what it means for them. And last week I was talking to him about one of the pieces of the package, the checks, and he asked me to explain to him, how do you explain to people how checks get out the door? So this is what's on his mind, right?
We are so stupid, we do not know how checks get out the door. That's what's on his mind. The American people do not know how we get checks out the door. Says all the people that will not now be getting their tax gifts, refunds, some credits back in the mail because this $1,400 takes priority. So they're stopping that. But we don't know how they get those checks out the door. How do they do that, Joe? That's what's on his mind. How do you tell people how that happens? I don't know. Maybe we put it in an envelope, wrote your name and address on it, and put it in the mail, unless we had your account information, which we just deposited in there. Wow. See, the bigger question would be, how do I explain to people where the money came from that we sent to them and how much it's going to cost them later? But no. How do we get checks out the door? That's the big question. We are not smart enough to understand that. And we must be explained to by this guy. All right, I like this. Biden eyes first major tax hike since 1993 in next economic plan. Now, to be fair, it's only going to be on people making $400,000 a year or more, and on corporations, and on investment income, and on estate taxes and things like that. Do you know how many people have estate taxes every year? They're trying to expand them. Do you know how many people have investment income? Yeah, you don't have to make $400,000 or more to have investment income. They want to raise that price. That's going to devastate the stock market for at least the short term. But anyway, and of course, people don't understand corporations pay more tax. Their prices go up. We pay it. Corporations don't pay it. Their customers pay it. Come on. But no, that's it. And I can just almost guarantee you the taxes aren't going to start or stop at $400,000. No. They will start well below that because they'll have it'll be Congress. This is what we had to do. I don't know. All right, this is good too. Because what happens when you raise corporate taxes on companies? They go to another country where the corporate taxes are less, because 28% is what they want. They're talking about raising the corporate tax level to. That's enough to make companies move offshore, because that would again be one of the highest in the world. Well, we have an answer from Janet Yellen, the Secretary of Treasury. Yellen pushes global minimum tax as White House eyes new spending plan. So it would be, even if you move out, you still get taxed. See, they're covering all the bases. You know why? Because they're spending crazy. So get ready, people. Those warnings of inflation weren't hot air. Hot air is coming from someplace else. What else do we have here? Oh, a little question, because they hate tax cuts. So here's a little question. Come on, open up for me. There you go.
Spending that they're getting their stimulus checks. More broadly speaking, all this money is going to be coursing through states and localities, cities. Does the president have any sort of preferences? Does he have any red lines of what they shouldn't do? If there are any tax cuts, would that bother him? How is he thinking about the money once it goes out the door to states and localities?
Well, the original purpose of the state and local funding was to keep cops, firefighters, other essential employees at work and employed, and it wasn't intended to cut taxes. So I think he certainly hopes that that's how the funding is used. But part
That's how he hopes. In fact, there is language in the bill, according to some, I have not read the entire 600 and something pages, that would prohibit states from using the money to cut taxes because they don't want anybody's taxes going down. And a lot of states, since they're just sending it out, they don't need the money. Just like a lot of people don't need the money. You know, I realize some do. And again, I'm in favor. The government shut us down. They've got some responsibility. But guess what? The governments don't make money. They take money. All right? Yeah. This should just warm your heart. I thought of several intros to it, but none of which wouldn't have made me look like I'm somewhat of a racist type person. You know, I understand some people already probably think I'm cruel for the way we focus on Dr. Rachel Levin, but then he's not a nice guy. And he wants to do what he has done to himself to young boys all over. And I'm telling you, that's just wrong. So he deserves what we can do to him here on our little but beloved show. Most influential voice, Warren's network spreads throughout Biden administration. The Biden regime. Told you there's an outside voice. Told you there was a woman who had a great amount of influence there. And her voice matters. I've been telling you that. Senator Elizabeth Warren. I know there were many Trump statements about her. I'm not playing them. I'm not. Not today anyway. Maybe never, but maybe another day. Yeah. And where are they mostly ending up? In financial roles. Other roles too. And you know what her philosophy is? She is as far left as possible on financial and social policies. I mean, she didn't even last very long in the primaries because her policies are so out there, but all her people are the ones that Biden is turning to. So expect big tax cuts, expect more handouts, expect this country to be in such bad shape by the end of his first year that we will be calling ourselves the United States of Debt. Just, maybe not. Maybe I'm wrong. Right, we can spend our way to prosperity. Wall Street was relieved when Senator Elizabeth Warren was passed over for the leadership of the Treasury Department, but now the financial industry faces another threat. President Joe Biden is enlisting a small army of her former aides and allies to run his government. Her and Janet Yellen, the Secretary of Treasury, talk every day almost. I mean, this is serious. Warren's expanding network in the upper echelons of the administration includes protégés who helped execute her aggressive oversight of big banks and other corporations, as well as friends who share her views of the risk looming on Wall Street, but it goes beyond finance, covering pivotal posts at the Department of Education and even the National Security Council. Remember the economist we listened to the other day came out and talked to us a little bit about the spending, the American Rescue Plan and everything. One of her people was her campaign's chief economist. So, we was he over the National Economics Council? Yeah, her guy. Lots of fun. Yeah, it makes me want to do what?
Make a run for the border.
Yeah, let's go to the border a little bit. Not as much as usual, but there was a lot of border news that came out on Friday and Saturday. And you have to understand, we will cover most of it tomorrow, as much as I would prefer not to. You have to understand why it came out on Friday or Saturday. That way, the particular news outlets can say, we covered it, but they know news that comes out on Friday and Saturday doesn't get much coverage. That's how come that bit of gun restraint legislation came out late Thursday. Not much to do, especially when we're celebrating the American Rescue Plan. And so there's a lot that came out on the border. A lot. Yeah, we'll get to it. Just no time today. But we do have this announcement from Ambassador Jacobson.
Así que yo creo que es muy importante subrayar el caso que la frontera no está cerrada y el viaje es muy peligroso y la gente realmente no debían llegar a los Estados Unidos en una manera irregular ahora.
You're telling them not to come.
The border is not closed. I know it was a faux pas. It was a slip. I don't think so, because they always say we're closed, but we're getting ready for you.
You don't know what you're talking about, do you? Sir?
No, she doesn't. Because she's saying the border's not closed. And even when she says it's closed, she says, but we're working to make it better. I don't know, ladies and gentlemen. I suppose I look at all this in the wrong way, because remember, the more immigrants we have without a job, without health care, without any skills, as what was the poll the other day? Like 67% haven't even graduated high school. That helps. Somehow that makes us all more prosperous. Hadn't figured that one out. Still working on it. Have to ask Biden, the man who doesn't know how to explain how checks get out the door. All right, come on. What are we talking about here? Oh, this is interesting.
Team will be doing.
So while he does that, you know, there are a lot of Americans who see him going to take these trips this week to promote this popular law and think, okay, but why can't he take time to go down to the border? You know, you said last week, and you've said it before, it takes a lot of resources to get him there. It's taking a lot of resources to get him to Pennsylvania and Georgia this week, the vice president out west. Why not take the time to schedule something to go there as well?
Well, I would say that his focus is on developing solutions, pushing his team, encouraging his team to develop solutions that will expedite processing at the border, that will open more facilities, that will ensure kids are treated with humanity and also treated safely, and that's his focus. And so that's where he's putting his efforts on immigration.
And what is the status of allowing cameras into some of these facilities? We've been asking for weeks about whether or not the press will ever get a chance to see either the Border Patrol or the HHS facilities.
We continue to support transparency, and from here, from the White House, and DHS oversees some of the facilities, HHS oversees some of the facilities. I know that they're working through how to provide access in a way that abides by COVID protocols and also protects the privacy of people who are staying in those facilities.
Wow, how can we describe this, ladies and gentlemen? I'm not sure. Maybe like this.
That's all I ever get from you.
Yes, lies, lies. That's all we ever get from you, Jen. Why don't you just say he's not going down there and be seen with those migrants? That will be on every news show. Every political candidate ever running against him will use it, and he's not going to be the face of this mess, and you're not getting in there with cameras, even though we are the most transparent administration ever. Not happening. Well, she didn't say it like that. She was nice about it, but she did say it like this when the question came up again. Let's see.
Go in the back.
Thank you very much, Jen. Quick follow-up on the border. Does President Biden plan to visit the border?
I don't have any trips to preview for you at this point in time. If we do, we will certainly preview them.
Something he's considering or talking about?
I don't have anything to preview for.
Not happening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm telling you, he's not going there. He's not getting within any closer than Houston to there. Now, there is some information here because the regime dropped a really popular with the states plan, and we reported on it, where they will no longer, they changed the public charge rule where if you're wanting to come legally to this country, of course, illegally, just come on over. Just illegally come on over, you know, anytime. But legally, you have to show you're not going to be a burden to the country. You're not going to be on welfare and this and that. Well, they dropped it. States don't like it because you know why? States end up carrying a big part of that cost. And so they are suing to stop it. It's like, stop it, Joe, stop it. What would they say to you if they could, Joe? Huh? What would they say? Where is it? Where is it? We've got to do it, yeah.
Full stop. Full stop.
Sorry, the man inspires me. All right, come on, move. Thank you. Continuing to defend the rule is neither in the public interest nor an efficient use of limited government resources, DHS said in a statement. So, bringing in people who need welfare and everything else, that's a better way to spend limited government resources. See, you'll never understand it. Somehow bringing in people that need financial assistance helps our limited governmental resources. The states led by Arizona filed a motion this week to intervene in the lawsuit, which would allow the states to petition the Supreme Court to accept review of the case and have the case heard in full. Because, see, the states don't understand how that's a better usage of limited government resources. Again, all these things help us. Really, like when you take in your freeloading relatives. Yeah. It's like my son did with us. Yeah, take us in. We're a big help.
And then this happened on Friday, but it didn't receive there was a lot going on. So I just wanted to highlight, we rescinded the 2018 MOU between DHS and HHS, which we believe will encourage families and sponsors to come forward without fear of additional immigration enforcement. And we've seen this as an issue where family members or even sponsor families are worried that this will mean they will be tracked, and this rescinds that. We're also looking for additional facilities, and this remains a focus. So.
Okay, I misspoke. I got them confused. My production staff did not give me the proper notifications. You're all fired. That's it, you're fired. Get out. Close the door quietly, please. That vibrating when she's talking, I think she has her phone on the podium and it's vibrating. It's not my phone, it's not me, and we didn't have time to edit it out. Okay, what this rule does, instead, they did do the one on allowing in the public charge people who can be on welfare, which also the states are suing to stop. But this, see, they would bring in minors and then their families who for some reason left their kids where in their country of origin. They wouldn't come forward and get them because then, if they didn't have proper documentation, they could be arrested and sent back to their country of origin. Well, we dropped that, and now all of these people can come get their kids even if they're here illegally. Again, somehow it all makes sense. It does. You got to like it. We're treating them with humanity. Aren't we? Yeah. And Biden will deploy FEMA to care for teenagers and children crossing border in record numbers. So, they ask in the press briefing, aren't they disaster, help for emergencies and disasters? Are you making a statement here? No. Godformation time as we are moving along, almost out of time. Where's the fireworks? There they are. All right. Can't have them at Mount Rushmore, though. We can have them here. Just not at Mount Rushmore. I don't know if we can have them on 4th of July unless it's in our backyard, but we'll see. Godformation. Should be God forbid, but no. The border is a snare that anyway, it's a snare to them. I have no idea what that word is. All that catches all that play games. Okay, I wish I would write, but I'm going to fire me. It has caught them, and investigations are already being talked about in Congress, and because Congress is not going to be silent on this, especially those that were left feeling sold out in the ARP and other regime moves. This is their payback. This is their payback. Remember, they won't let Congress go down and look. Yeah, they won't let them in. Gun violence people want the border dealt with, because it's taking momentum away from them. The border is their noose, and I do not mean that racially. That's what it was told to me. They cannot keep it quiet any longer, and if you saw all the news coming out over the weekend, you would know tomorrow, I love you tomorrow. All of the talk is on the border, and they are starting to feel pressure to shut down. They are. I told you it could, be a big policy announcement change on Tuesday. We're listening. All right. Guns are being focused on, and all things I can't read my own writing. All things, related to them or whatever. There will be a bill preceded by an extensive executive order. Now listen, because they know this won't pass the Senate. They won't pass the Senate. There will be an executive order to allow for confiscation of firearms in a specified radius around any demonstration, riot, or public emergency area or event. Yes, there will be an executive order, because they know the bill won't pass, that if, say there's a school shooting, they can go within a specified area and knock on the door and search for and confiscate all firearms. If there's a riot, if there is a demonstration even that gets a little out of hand, they will be able to do that. That's what they're looking for, and you won't get those guns back, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, I'll sue. Well, you better. I'm telling you, it's coming, or unless we can stop it. They are counting equity votes. If they can, if they've got enough votes, they will add that for the tax exemption for religious and nonprofit groups to be removed if people will not hire and act accordingly. Okay? So if you don't adopt open policies, they'll take away your tax exemption if they get the votes. All right? The chief of staff wants to resign, but they're holding him in check for now. And there's a lot of people wanting to get out of this regime because it's not what they thought. It's no fun up there, and they want out. A secret memo. A couple of secret memos were leaked. One on the border, one on Iran, and one about steps to target the GOP and overcome them. So there you go. A lot of interesting stuff today, huh? Well, that's what we do. It's why we work so hard to bring all of this to you. Sorry you had to be witness to the very unruly firing of my staff. They'll come begging for their jobs back. I'll give it to them because they're all working for free. So, God bless you. I'm so glad that you watch. Tell somebody about it. If you can, feel free to share it as we are counting down the days of the illegal Biden regime. We'll see you next week or tomorrow. Tomorrow. Remember, tomorrow. I said tomorrow. I meant tomorrow.